Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This guy over here, his name is Tim, and this is The Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. Today, we're going to dive into some feisty little comments that the ATF Director made on a Harvard stage when he's trying to dumb down the conversation around background checks and firearms and 4473s, and he kind of says a little too much about a little thing called a database. You guys are going to love every second. Make sure you leave a comment in the comments field down there. Like, subscribe, and share this out. And you know what, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good day when Steve, Mr. Dettelbach gets up on that stage because he is a gaffe machine, dude.
And what is it with our government officials? It seems like it started with George Bush, 43. That he just struggled with words, and then we get Trump isn't the most gifted speaker. Biden certainly isn't. And then we got Dittelbaum over here. It's like, oh my goodness, what is it with our leaders?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That's a good
We used
point.
to have such
Obama
great orators. If you go back, I mean, you had Kennedy, you had Reagan, you had all these guys that could just command and control an audience, and had an actual vocabulary. And then we get these guys. But anyway, so yeah, good old.
I mean, to be fair, though, Obama was very articulate.
No, he was.
Just said silly things.
Yeah,
like the amount of states we have and stuff.
And I won't go into what Joe Biden said about him being articulate. Because Joe Biden's racist and we're not. So
or Harry Reid because that was not good vibes. But it was okay because there was a pardon given. So that's a different thing for a different time, Tim.
Mr. Dettelbaum, we're back.
Mr. Dettelbaum. All right, and we're back. So let's run some backstory, Tim, because we've been involved in this specific fight for a while. This is all about registries, right? Because registries are a no-no according to congressional law.
Yes.
Because databases are a no-no. Searchable databases. Well, it turns out that all that you're a conspiracy theory stuff was just confirmed by the director of the ATF, because for the past 12 to 16 months, we've been seeing things like this on AMOLand. Senior button pusher, number 1, please. Anti-gunners downplay gun registry. Then let's go to number 2. Fact check. This is from The Hill. The claim that the ATF has a gun registry with 1 billion records is missing context. Oh, it's missing context. All right. Well, so that's kind of what we've been dealing with, right? The right, or the gun rights side, has been saying, you guys are violating congressional law by doing a database which is digitized. And the left is going, well, it's missing context.
Yeah.
Really?
We just have all the data. We've just not connected anything to an actual database. Right.
Yeah.
I
mean,
because
it's fine.
Even if it's an Excel spreadsheet, I can search it. I mean, you'd have
anything on a computer.
Right. You'd have to build a very special database that doesn't do database things. Like keep digital records.
Funny.
I mean, I can search a flat text file. I mean, come on.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Come on. It's basic.
I mean,
it's basic.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
Yeah. This is basic stuff. Well, you know what, Tim? Let's prime the pump because we've got 2 clips from director of the ATF, Steve Dettelbach, as you like to say, Dettelbaum. Let's go with number 5, Mr. Button Pusher.
And when they go out of business, they send us the records, and they send us the records many times in paper format. And they come in boxes and boxes, millions a month of these records. And there are these people wonderful people who sit at our facility in Martinsburg, West Virginia. And they sit at tables. And their job is to go through these boxes and boxes, an endless number of boxes, right? There's always more boxes, right? Millions of them, and take out the staples. And if there's waterlogged ones, flatten them and take off the clips and separate them every day, all day, from 9 in the morning till 5 at night. That's their job. Now,
dude. Okay, before we even get to the meat here, there's so many things here about this delivery. There's boxes. There's boxes.
And there's more boxes. And
they never-ending line of boxes.
They take paper and they take the clips out. And then if they're waterlogged, they flatten them out. AI stands for artificial intelligence. And this, it's like, really, dude? Are you talking to a class of 5th graders? And then, by the way, once you get the staples out and all that stuff and you got them flattened, what are you doing with them? What do you got to flatten paper for?
Exactly. Why do you need to do that? But it's so interesting, Tim, because you brought up a very valid point. Amongst the boxes and boxes and boxes and never-ending boxes, it's like the never-ending story of boxes. Why are you talking to a bunch of Harvard students like they are 4-year-olds? And then if they're wet, we flatten them It is the weirdest way. Like, it's just weird.
Right.
Whatever.
And they're
So
in
now
boxes. That's BOX. And it's like, wow, dude. I know.
A lot of them. This is the head of the ATF. So now here's the next question, Tim, and you went right to it. Why? And I think you have extensive experience to answer this question. Why would you remove staples from multi-page 4473s with images of licenses and things that the ATF requires on federal documents? Why would you remove the staples at risk of separating them and then flattening them out, almost like you would need to run them through a scanner?
Yeah, it almost seems like you might be scanning these documents. Because
that's weird.
See, because he's right. Once an FFL goes out of business, they have to send all their records to the ATF.
Absolutely.
But if they're not digitizing them and they're not keeping a database of gun owners, then why not just leave them in the boxes and store them in the National Archives or wherever you store them? Why are you taking them all out of their boxes, separating them, flattening them, getting the staples out? Because we all know how well staples feed through scanners, automatic scanners, right? Why are you doing all this? Oops.
It's kind of...
You just told us what you're up to.
You said too much. And in fact, it even gets better, Tim, because he doubled down. Again, maybe the students at Harvard didn't fully understand what he was saying, how this works, because they are the creme de la creme of our country, after all. Senor Button Pusher, could you throw number 6 in there for me?
We can trace them to the first retail sale. Which sort of gets, Congress has set limits on how much data we can keep. I am the only, and we can't have a firearms registry. There's a law that says ATF can't have a firearms registry. Right. So I am the only, as far as I know, I'm the only customer of Adobe Acrobat who we at ATF pay them extra money to remove search function from their product, so that we can comply with what Congress has mandated. And so we have, every time there's a trace run, it is done literally by a person going through either records that are scanned in, looking at them one by one, or running into the boxes and boxes and boxes of records we keep, or getting on the phone with the many currently in business firearms dealers, asking them to read to us or provide to us a form 4473, which is the form that people fill out when they buy a form from a gun dealer. So we...
Well, wait a minute. Hold on, Tim.
Well, you know, they pay extra for Adobe Acrobat.
Extra.
That doesn't have search functionality.
That's weird.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? I think it's a great time to show the people of the Second Legacy what Adobe Acrobat does. Number 3, please. Adobe Acrobat: create, edit, and review PDFs, e-sign documents, and collect signatures. Collaborate with your team, all in one app. So, Tim, it's okay, because that's not a searchable database, because that would be outside the scope of what Congress allows.
Right.
And he's the only customer who pays them extra money to remove the search function. You know, that can't be re-added.
Yeah, and it's a standalone app, right? You can go download Adobe to your computer, right? Mm-hmm. And so presumably, if he's being honest, they've paid extra to have search functionality removed from their client software, but still it's a free download on the internet that you can get anywhere. So what is he claiming here?
Oh, he's claiming that he's within the realm of acceptable enforcement.
He's trying to walk that gray line. We scan records, but we don't connect them. We can't search them. Yep. We scan records. If we need more information, we'll call up FFLs. We'll get that information. Mm-hmm. What do you do with that information? Do you type it into a laptop? Bet you do. Non-searchable though. I mean, they pay extra for Excel that's non-searchable.
Extra money.
Yep.
Extra money.
Yep. Their text editors, non-searchable. The command to Control F doesn't work on their special versions of text readers.
Exactly.
You know, he admits to everything. I mean, we even know, because we have FFLs that have come out and said, we had ATF in here, and we had an ATF examiner sitting in a room with all of our documents, taking pictures of them all.
Correct.
And so, and then he gets up there and he's trying to walk this fine line like, we got all these documents, but we can't search them. We scan them all, but we can't search them. I mean,
and we prepare them for scanning, but there's great people, an endless line of boxes, taking staples out and flattening paper and doing all these great things because they're great humans from morning until night. Why?
Let's take a government official's word on it and assume for a moment that he's being honest. Okay. that nobody at ATF has ever done a search across the document looking for something on a gun owner. We'll just assume that's not happened. Exactly. Well, what he's saying then is we have everything in place, so all we have to do is flip a switch.
Exactly. And then what if we stop paying Adobe that extra money to take out the search function by mistake, of course, because bills lapse. We changed the government credit card. Bro, legitimately, he just admitted to everything that we have been saying that they have had in place this whole time, openly.
Yep,
openly. And the thing that just boggles my mind. If you think about the numbers that we're talking about, we are talking about 1 billion forms. This is not 1 million, 1 billion. And you're telling me that within 3 hours of a terrible occurrence or a crime, you just magically found it without a search function? 1 billion? Man, talk about lucky.
They have a lot of savants working for them that can memorize billions of documents. And so they can say, they have Rain Man sitting over there. Can you find, John Doe? John Doe? That's record 1,144. It's like,
right.
He's so full of it. He's so full of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they just admitted to it on a Harvard stage, talking to a bunch of highly educated people who are going to work at the highest firms in the country, like 4-year-olds, about how staples work.
Yeah.
I mean, like, on its face, dude, you cannot look at what he just laid out and go, oh, that's not connected at all.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. It's totally believable.
Totally believable. It's fine because after all, it's congressional law, and we would never reinterpret congressional law with definitions of words in the Gun Control Act of 1968. Oh wait, pistol braces, guns and frames and receivers, machine guns, and who's a dealer? No, we would never do that.
Right?
Not in the last 2.5 years.
Oh man,
Sweet Moses.
You can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
No,
and
you can't.
And this is the bad part. It's somebody in Congress had to see this. Nothing's going to be done. Like there's not going to be an investigation into this. They're not going to find out what they're really able to search because nobody in government really cares. They pass a law and just move on. Oh yeah, okay, so we did that. We took care of that. ATF's not keeping track of gun owners. Let's move on. And then there's no accountability when the ATF director gets up there and goes, "Oh yeah, we're basically violating federal law, but hey, we pay Adobe extra."
Exactly. But Tim, after all, hold on. No, Tim, now you are being unfair to Stephen, to Mr. Stephen, with his amazing explanations in boxes upon boxes upon boxes. A searchable database, and that's a registry, but a non-searchable database, that's just a collection of images.
Yes.
So really
disjointed information that they can't really do much with. That's why they spend all that time doing nothing. Right? It's like, we're going to do all this. We're going to set people around the table and go through millions and billions and trillions of records for no real reason. I mean, there's no real reason we're taking the staple out. We don't want that information digitized. It's not what we're doing. We're just making sure the paper's in good shape because we're trying to store it for posterity.
So it's so bizarre. Dude.
I know.
It's on its face. I mean, like the only reason these are federal forms of where 4473s are multiple page documents. This is not front and back. You need them stapled together so there's continuity of what the signature's on one page, the fill out is on the other page of all the boxes you have to check. It makes no sense to detach them whatsoever. And this guy's up here thinking no one will connect these dots.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's a reason. Well, there's a reason to separate them all, flatten them out, and make sure they're ready to feed through a document scanner. Probably because you run them through a document scanner.
It's because you run them through a document scanner, but it's not searchable. So then you think that's okay because you're outside of a gray area in the law? Come on, man. Like that's just, it's so bad. It hurts. I really hope that this goes and someone in Congress sees it and they just at least raise it in some sort of committee. Might not go anywhere, but at least they could raise it in the committee.
Yeah.
No, but at least they could.
Never does. Well, it would seem that
hurts, dude.
Yeah, old Dittelbum's always a source of entertainment, unfortunately. But it's fun to laugh at this. But on the serious side, folks, what they're doing is criminal, and what they're doing is trying to infringe on your rights. And so that's why we point this stuff out. Yes, we're joking around and tongue-in-cheek comments in this video, but it's a deadly serious topic because this is an example of the government overreaching and prying into our lives, breaking federal law that exists to protect us as American citizens and our privacy. And they think it's funny and cute, so much so that they get up on the stage at Harvard and just basically out themselves. So anyway, we're going to follow this. We'll see how it pans out. If anything comes of this, probably not in terms of congressional investigations into the admission that they're keeping databases. But we'll see. If something does change, we'll bring it to you here on The Second Legacy. Thank you for watching, folks, and we'll talk to you guys soon.